I said, well, how are you talking to her? Are you coming down on her and
Because you still got to treat them like an adult.
right? I said they're young adults. I said they're teenagers and they're in high school. I said she probably has a mind of her own right now. Like, okay, this is kind of where I want to go. I said if you don't talk to her, especially about the things that we don't, the uncomfortable subjects is what we're gonna struggle with because we don't want to talk about the big S word. We don't want to tell them, okay, you know what, this, let's keep it real with you. This is
Right.
what's gonna happen, but I would like you not to. I said, if you don't have an open discussion and not like be mad when you're talking, she's gonna do what she wants to do.
Yep.
I said, if she does not feel like she can trust you
Yep.
in these situations, she's going to run and she's gonna rebel. And you're
Yep.
gonna be running until she out.
I agree.
So,
So again, but like he was broken.
I
That
know
was
he
wild.
was. And
That
it might
was.
not even be him, it might be her.
It was. Yeah, it was the wife. Like it was.
Exactly. Like,
So
where's the other kids at?
they've already moved
I mean,
out,
not like you, but
and then like even Juan, her older brother, moved out really young too. Now that I think about it, because he used to work at Subway, but
there's some really toxic women out there, though. Like, really, I mean, we're talking about,
yeah,
like, the
yeah,
stuff we read about, we're like, they really, those spirits are living in people, so there ain't no telling.
yeah,
Dad might have not did nothing wrong, but mom was the one pushing people out.
yeah, and it is more of that type of deal situation.
Especially if
But
there's no, if she's like throwing stuff back in her face, like, well, this is mine, blah, 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 blah. We're like, well,
hmm.
that kind of complex. Now she's like, well, I don't want nothing from you guys. If that's how you're gonna do, I'm gonna do things
Yeah,
on
I
my own.
mean, like again, she just up and he
That's
said they
crazy.
had a conversation. It was a blowout. He had went to work. He came back. He thought he had a good
Oh,
conversation with the daughter. The next day, she moved out
wow.
that fast. Like so, I don't know. Again, I'm just gonna pray for him and
Yes,
hopefully
for
that
real.
situation
That's
turns.
dangerous too.
Yeah,
Especially nowadays when they
that was wild to me. But we are going to go ahead and get started. Dear Heavenly Father, we just ask for you to forgive us of our sins and sins of our ancestors, Father. We ask for you to protect our tribes, to protect our women, to protect our children, Father, and just help us to know you, to love you, to trust you, to put our faith in you, Father, because you are our strength and you have become our song and our salvation, Father. We ask for you to create in us clean and contrite hearts, minds, and spirits, Father, and we just ask, Father, for you to lead us and guide us into all truth, Father. We ask for you to send healing and protection throughout the tribes, Father, and help us to be able to discern between friend and foe, Father, as these deceptions become more and more deceptive, Father. All these things we do ask and pray in the name of your beloved Son, Yahushua HaMashiach. Amen. Amen. So I'm just going to record this one and then put it online. I know I hadn't put the other ones on. I'm about to do all that today. Um, yeah, I'm not going to recap everything because that would take too long. But do y'all remember who Nimrod was? Okay. So, Nimrod was what? A mighty warrior before the Most High. He was the first person to do what? Yeah, he brought Baal worship to the world, which it ends up going back to him. He's also where they got the idea and concept for Gilgamesh. Um, but he was the one that created Babylon and all those other five cities. And that was the first time that there was a one world government. So technically, if you want to be technical, he was the first world king, but he would technically also be the first Antichrist,
Oh,
if you really think about it. You can find it in Genesis 10, verses 8 through 10. We're not going to. Right. Because the beginning of his kingdom was at Babel. He was a mighty hunter before the Most High. And what did before mean? Yeah. So when it says he was a mighty hunter before the Most High, what did the word before mean? Do you remember? So in defiance. Perfect. That's it. That's right. That's right. That's it. So, because Cush, he fathered Nimrod, who became the first fearless leader throughout the land. He became a fearless hunter in defiance of the Most High. You hit the nail on the head. That is why it is said, like Nimrod, a fearless hunter in defiance of the Most High. So, just like we buried the lead last time, I'm going to skip down to where it says, since one of the possible translations of the word is anger, some believe that the type of hunting he may have been doing is what angered the Most High. It is believed by some that Nimrod was a hunter of humans. So right now, we're just going over how things that were going on in ancient times are the same things that have been going on now. He was he's believed to be the first person hunting humans.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember about when you talk about the Vatican releasing the Lost Book of King Og a few years ago, and how Og talks about how Nimrod had a Nephilim kingdom, and it talks about how he became Nephilim.
Yeah.
How do you become Nephilim?
Unless you're born and how you become, you had to do something.
You had to do something strange.
Yeah.
You had to do something strange. So it was before the Most High, and then we went to like the Jasher 7, verses 27 through 30, 42 through 47, right? Because he also had the garments of Adam and Eve, and whenever he put them on, he became stronger. So again, he became Nephilim, right? And where it says the Lord, we know that is Baal. So he's the one that brought the worship of the Lord. When they were referred to the Lord, they were actually talking about him.
Yeah.
And he became deified as Baal, a god, right? So all roads lead back to Babylon. When you start looking at different texts, right? So
Whatever happened to the clothing of Adam and Eve? Whatever happened to it?
we don't know.
Yeah.
The last ones that we knew had it was Nimrod, and then he ended up getting killed.
Yeah.
So we don't.
Somebody stole it.
Yeah, somebody probably got him. I mean, would not be surprised at this point. So we'll keep going. Keep going. Babel erect. So in the Lost Book of King Og talks about that there was two kingdoms in the land, right? So the land is called. It was the land of Shinar. What was significant about the land of Shinar?
I remember you talking about last week.
It goes back to the Book of Enoch.
Uh,
It's originally where the fallen angels came down.
where the fallen angels
So,
came down and make their
Nimrod,
together.
right, builds this kingdom where the Watchers came down and fell, and then where they were preying on women and having all these giants, and that's where you want to build a kingdom. That's a little strange. Where were you getting your information from? This is where he's getting this power, this occult knowledge from, right? So again, that's according to the Lost Book of King Og. And according to him, Nimrod means stupid, but if you end up ruling the world, you can't be that stupid.
Nah,
So, but Nimrod actually means rebellion. And again, he was the first one to cause a rebellion, because when you look at, read from the book of Jasher, there were times when him and his warriors, because they were trying to build this tower to heaven, and they would shoot these arrows up to the sky, and blood would be on it.
Oh, yeah.
And they was like, we must have killed God. That's why I said he was the first Antichrist. Yeah. One of these lessons, we'll go back over that, just to show you.
Why you think the Most High just let's put blood on them?
Yeah, just to, okay, I mean, he can do what he wants.
Yeah, to tease them.
Like your arms are too short to box with y'all? Like, what you talking about?
You know that for sure.
What you talking about? So again, these are the depictions of Nimrod playing with a lion. Got a lion in his arm like it's like a child.
Yeah.
And this is a better version of it right there.
Oh, wow.
He was just so huge. He was larger than life. Again, he became Nephilim through some type of process, and allegedly he was hunting humans or eating blood, flesh. We know that's a no-go.
So I wonder how tall he was before he started becoming Nephilim.
That's a good question. That's a real good question. The unspoken mistake from the Lost Book of King Og was circumcision. And again, just to reiterate, it says, during the time of the sacrifice, the loose-bowed fecal priest Og, governed by half of the great land, and Nimrod, his, continually marveled over the tranquil peace between our war tribes. Nimrod's Nephilim kingdom enforced circumcision, while Og's did not, right? King Og made a covenant with all Rephaim and Nephilim tribes until Nimrod betrayed them and introduced Baal, or the worship of the Lord, to humans. So, yeah, but like it was some weirdo stuff going on.
Did you send the link out?
No, this is not live.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is recorded.
You want to trust him no more?
Huh? I'm gonna wait a little bit. I'm just gonna upload. I'm gonna try to upload all of the ones today, and then because we're gonna have the baby soon, so I want to have some stuff just in case I gotta miss a day or two. So yeah, so we'll keep going. Gibberine, mighty men, that's what we are. So the great land was Shinar. I already talked to you about that. We'll just keep going. Now Nimrod and humans. So different texts, like Jeremiah 19 talks about eating flesh. Jasher 7 talks about how the sons of God came down and they would choose women. And then they would have all of these, children, but they weren't just sinning against mankind. They were sinning against the beasts of the earth, the fowls of the air. Like they were everything. It was just, it was straight anarchy. It was anti the Most High, so it was adversarial, right? It was adversarial, what they were bringing to mankind.
Yeah.
Okay, so then in the Lost Book of Enoch, book 1, chapter 6, those are all the ones that came down and they swore an oath. So if you go to chapter 7, this is where it says, and all the others together with them took unto themselves wives, and each chose for himself, and they began to go in unto them, and to defile themselves with them. And they taught them charms and enchantments, and the cutting of roots, and made them acquainted with plants. And they became pregnant, and they buried great giants, whose height was 3,000 ells, who consumed all the acquisitions of men, so all of the cattle and all that. And when men could no longer sustain them, the giants turned against them and devoured mankind. So then they started cannibalizing.
Wow.
And they began to sin against birds and beasts and reptiles and fish, and to devour one another's flesh and drink the blood. Then the earth laid accusation against the lawless ones.
Look, bro, you gotta think about how scary it would have been once all of the cows and stuff ran out.
Man.
Cows, chicken.
That you know you next on the food chain.
Goats.
Like, bro.
They
Hey,
eat everything.
Hey, what you think they gonna eat now? you know there ain't no more fast food, right? You know Mickey D's and closed down. You know I heard there's some great lands out west.
We gotta get up out of here.
Look, bro.
That's probably where that whole baby eating come from.
Probably.
Think about it. They're not gonna just be like, okay, we're gonna off with the leader. They're gonna be like, oh, well, let's go after the babies.
Yeah.
So that's what I said. I told my husband, I said, this ain't nothing new. I said, this is part of their DNA.
Yeah.
This is what their people are used to. That's why they're doing these things.
Yeah.
And then they're secretly initiating other people, and we have no idea.
Right.
Ecclesiastes 1 verse 9. The thing that hath been is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is nothing new under the sun. So that, especially when you think about Epstein, Pizzagate,
Yeah.
sex trafficking, torture, pineal gland eating, all of that stuff. It's nothing new. Nothing new under the sun. Right? So we'll keep going. So again, things to know. Both King Og's and Nimrod's kingdom, 8 males. While the women were honored and made into priestesses,
Oh, wow.
and Baal, the Lord's concubines.
Well, duh. You gotta keep your food source open. Like.
Oh, man.
Because remember, Epstein and them, they were hunting black women
Yes.
to have sex with them,
Yeah.
to procreate with them so they could eat the baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like you get her pregnant, so you got pregnant all that time, had a baby, and y'all about to go eat it right then.
Yeah, it's fresh food.
Like what in the world?
It's fresh.
All that is just weird.
It's weird. It's super weird. Yeah. So that's the main thing. But again, they would predominantly eat the men at that time. Now they really don't care.
Yeah.
You know,
You know,
these people are insatiable with their appetite.
Yeah.
So now we'll go to today. I think that's enough. So today we're going over cannibalism and Satanism, right? And while we're doing that, we're going to go back to the delectable Negro, right? Really quick. The delectable Negro. Again, because y'all remember about Nat Turner, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh,
Eat his own penis and that.
well, that wasn't Nat Turner. That was the other guy. Well, we stopped at the other guy. So it says, colonial era Nantucketers were not alone in their self-preserving silence. Slave-owning whites, for different reasons, covered up the reality of black consumption. Take, for example, the circumstances surrounding the consumption of Nat Turner. The black insurrectionists, black members of the Southampton, Virginia community, left oral records of whites who tried to coerce them into consuming Nat Turner's boiled down flesh and entrails. So white people trying to talk you into cannibalism. Now these are the wicked ones, because ain't nobody saying all white people do this. This is just according to this book and according to the slave narratives. Because throughout history, it's like they just overlook anything a slave says and they only go by what the oppressor says, right? Black persons also implied that 19th century whites might have consumed the revolutionary as a medicinal substance. Whites from the time period dismissed such Ideas is folk belief arising from the backward and infantile culture of older darkies. Oh, don't listen to the old darkies. To add to this, scholars of Turner's experience have on the whole denied, infantilized, or dismissed the observations of black persons. So again, they didn't care about the slave narratives.
This is darky woman.
Right. So Nat Turner, the eating of Nat Turner, right? So most people do not readily associate Nat Turner with the heroic figure and slave insurrectionist with the themes of auto-cannibalism, self-consumption. Auto-cannibalism and self-consumption. White male consumptive desires or homoeroticism. So when you start reading this book, you start seeing that cannibalism and homoeroticism go hand in hand. It's like an unholy marriage, right? For some strange reason.
Domination.
Right. These themes, however, strongly informed from Southampton, Virginia, whites punished Turner and treated his corpse after his public lynching. In the 19th century, the whites press throughout the country reported that Turner had sold his body for dissection. He's a slave, but he could sell his body.
He didn't own his body.
Right. And spent the money on ginger cakes. Many papers reported that Turner feasted on these sweet ginger cakes before his own execution. This was an erroneous assertion, as slaves did not own, Shabbat Shalom, did not own themselves and therefore had no agency to barter and trade in their own flesh. This linking of consent to black self-consumption was a common idea that found its way into lynching ritual practices in the late 19th and early 20th century. In 1934, whites made Claude Neal, this is where we left off last time, we stopped here, whom they lynched in Jackson County, Florida, eat his cut off penis and testicles for educational training purposes. James McGovern relates the details of the Neal lynching in Anatomy of a Lynching. After taking the nigger to the woods about 4 miles from Greenwood, that was one of the Black Wall Street places, they cut off his penis. He was made to eat it. Then they cut off his testicles and made him eat them and say he liked it. So this is what you call auto-cannibalism. All of this stuff goes back to satanic practices that go all the way back to Babylon. They even go back to Egypt too, and certain occult beliefs, we'll say that, secret society beliefs also. This is what you call auto or self-consumption. Oh man. And this is why all of our bloodlines have got to be purged, because that type of trauma is in our DNA. That's wild. You'll make him eat his own self? That's crazy.
He likes it. Why he's in pain?
Yeah.
Because it like they get off on being in dominant power situations, right?
Yeah.
And trauma.
Like trauma bonding or something. I don't know.
His own sexual organs, they made him eat his own sexual organs. As grotesque as this was only a byproduct of an even more disturbing reality of white hunger and power. The cutting off and forced eating of the penis was a reflection of white male oral fixations upon black male virility and black men as a sexual threat. So we were a threat to them, but they also had an insatiable urge and desire for us. They had oral fixations. Like, this stuff goes hand in hand. And this is the stuff that they don't teach you in textbooks. Because you wonder why in a lot of their movies, with their sarcasm and with their humor, it's always gay humor in movies. It's weird. It don't make no sense.
Like that Django.
Well, not necessarily just Django, just like a lot of Will Ferrell movies and all this other, like the way that they use their, even The Hangover, a lot of it be homosexual humor. And I'm like, yo, I don't understand that. They don't.
It's a lot of those movies.
Yeah, but this is their mindset, right? This has to do with their DNA, what was passed down to them. In a different erotic scenario, the white man might have taken the black penis into their own mouths or anuses.
Oh, my goodness, bro.
But in the absence of such imaginative privacy, they use the black male body as a type of puppet through which they grope, grapple with, and ultimately subdue their hungers for black male flesh and sex. So you wonder why, like, they be so worried about us, what we're doing, this and that. A lot of them have this uncontrollable urge, sexual, for us.
That explains a lot.
Because it don't make no sense.
Like what they putting on our food, because if a
Okay, you talking now.
black man now, we're not gonna be like, oh yeah, let's go and do this. They have to alter something within us to make us that way, so that
That's what
That
it
is
is.
just, that's
And
just,
and this is what I said at the men's meeting on Monday. We don't realize what our ancestors had to go through for us to still have nuclear families, men and women, because it was bad. Like it's when the Most High gave Abraham that nightmare about what was going to happen to his seed.
yeah,
This is the stuff that nightmares is made of. It don't get no worse than what happened to us here.
right.
Period. Right? Because he said he'd give us over to a prey and we would be devoured, and it will be a joy for him to destroy us. Right? Because we walk contrary unto him, he will walk contrary unto us. That's why David, when he says that in that prayer, Psalms, I think it was 23 or 27, eat up my flesh. Like, what are you talking about? My enemies come to eat up my flesh. Speaking in the prophetic in the future, we had no idea that this stuff was literal too.
Yeah,
It's crazy. So then it says, on the level of ritual, it is not enough to simply desire and want to consume Neil. The ritual is not complete until he eats the evidence of white desire. Swallowing his debasement and degradation along with white hunger and erotic fascination. So like they just get off on this type of stuff. Like this is where you get BDSM and all that other type of perverse stuff from, right? Many whites feared that Turner would literally rise from the grave. Now, why would they be so scared that a slave would rise from the grave? Because they know they know we the people. So many whites feared that Turner would literally rise from the grave and rebone himself. That sounds like Ezekiel 37, the dry bones.
dry bones. Because they read and they didn't want us to read these things.
Slave Bible.
Yep.
This is how some have explained the gruesome cannibalization of Turner after his death. William Sidney Drury, a member of the Southampton community, documented in the Southampton insurrection in 1900 the exact methods of punishment and post-mortem abuse of Turner's body. According to Drury, after Turner was executed, his body was delivered to doctors, who skinned it and made grease of the flesh. Mr. R.S. Barham's father owned a money purse made of his hide. This desire to literally possess Turner's flesh make use of his body calls to mind the homoerotics of the Neil scenario. With Turner's flesh serving as fetish and symbol of corporeal possession, the money purse made of Turner's skin and the grease made from his boiled down flesh convey the limitless consumptive uses of the slave in the myriad ways in which the ruling class could satiate upon desires and tastes for Negro flesh. That's crazy.
It's like they want the nutrients from us.
It's like they want everything.
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, and because they know again who we are, so they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna get powerful.
It's one thing to do that to animals, but they ain't doing it to humans too.
Yeah.
To boil his flesh down to, like, ugh.
Making different stuff with their skin and all. That's what you do to animals first.
Yeah.
Now you like, I'm gonna cross that line and do it to black folks too.
Yeah.
Boiling his flesh
Never
down to
thought we were
grease.
human, though.
Yeah.
They always thought we were
One third
for animals because I mean that's how they treated us.
They
That's
thought
what
it was
they
like,
said.
what they say was 1/3 human or something, a person or whatever.
3/5 a person, something like that.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
But if they go run their DNA, I'm pretty sure they got more Neanderthal than them.
Yeah.
Oh, you already know.
Right.
You already know. Because then it says blacks of Southampton community further complicated this erotics of taste through accusations that whites ingested Turner's boiled down flesh as a medicinal substance. As I discussed earlier, William Styron brought all of this suppressed homoerotic and consumptive history to the fore with the publication of the Confessions of Nat Turner. So there's books about this stuff. We're not just making this stuff up. Like they literally really did this stuff. These are the worst of the worst people. We're not talking about all white people. We're just talking about those that
Those rebels.
tend to lean towards cannibalism. Just saying. Styron's The Confessions and the debate that surrounded it clarified, like no moment before had, why black people have maintained a tight-lipped silence on the subject of homoeroticism under slavery. Homoeroticism, especially in the context of Turner's legacy, brought up for black people in the 1960s unspeakable issues of white consumption of blacks. So this says 1960s. That's around the time our parents were born.
Yeah.
So they had to live through that. So this is not that long ago.
Yeah, my dad was already born.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the stuff that our ancestors really had to survive. All praises to the Most High that we are even here.
Yeah.
That is crazy. 1960s unspeakable issues of white consumption of blacks, sexual objectification, bestial treatment under a white regime, an inconceivable topic of auto cannibalism, blacks made to eat one another and themselves during slavery.
Man, that's crazy. So you got not only gotta eat another black person, but you also gotta eat off yourself.
And this is because we fell into wickedness. We didn't, and we weren't even able to even attain the knowledge. They gave us a slave Bible. We didn't know that we had to repent. We didn't know that we had to get back right with the covenant. So the Most High, no matter what we say, allowed all this stuff to happen. Completely, he allowed it to happen. He said he would destroy us, and this is what he did. The 1960s was a moment when the legacy of black consumption under slavery culminated around the activist platforms and ideologies of the Civil War. Now, what does
Little bit in there?
no? What does Satan mean?
Adversary.
So remember, I said that Nimrod was the first one to bring a doctrine that was adversarial to the Most High.
Yeah.
So Satan means adversary, right? Adversary, withstand, superhuman adversary, right?
People don't remember they always talk about demons. They're all adversaries, so they all Satan.
They're all Satan.
Yeah.
They're all adversarial, right? And they're not at war with the Most High. They're at war with man. there is nothing that can come against the Most High. In this whole reality, there is nothing that can even make the Most High even get up off his throne.
Yeah, no.
What are you, you peon? I created you. So Satan also means the arch enemy of good, right? Just so we're clear. So again, Satan, adversarial, superhuman adversary. We get the gist now. So you see the word Satan one of the first times since Job is the oldest book in the Bible, in Job 1, verses 6 through 10. Go ahead, Ike.
Now there was a day when the sons of Yah came to present themselves before the Most High, and Satan came also among them.
So the angels or the sons of the Most High come before him, and then here comes the adversary, like,
Yeah. He's actually allowed to go up there.
yeah, to and fro. That's what I'm saying. Like when people think that the devil or Satan is warring with the Most High, I'm like, that's not. There is no war with the Most High. He's warring against mankind, and he's trying to create another Nimrod situation in mankind. Right? Okay.
And the Most High said unto Satan, whence comest thou? Then Satan answered the Most High and said, from going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. And the Most High said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth Yah, and escheweth evil? Then Satan answered the Most High and said, doeth Job fear Yah for naught? Hast not thou made an hedge about him, and about his house, and about all that he hath on every side? Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in land.
So you see, he just come in hating like, yeah, hating like. Of course, he love you. Like he got it all.
He's spoiled.
He got everything. I mean, what he gonna be mad at you for?
Yeah.
Yeah, just let me put my hands on him real quick. So Satan is anti, and when I'm talking about anti, I'm talking anti the people,
Yeah.
anti all righteous people of the Most High, right? So then you get into Satanism. So Satanism is defined as principles of self, indulgence, self-reliance, pride.
What they say, do as I will.
Do as thou as you
Yeah,
wilt.
yeah.
Do as thy wilt, right? That's the whole of their law. Do what you will. And it has to do with pride, and everything's about self, glorifying yourself. Because Nimrod was worshipped as a god, right? All of that stuff goes back to Nimrod, Baal worship.
666. Electrons is 666 is what we're made of.
Right.
That makes
Protons,
perfect
protons,
sense.
and neutrons.
The mark of the beast is literally
Yeah.
a man who is self-absorbed.
Yeah.
It's about me.
You, sis, have figured it out. That's 100% true. Because, like, the scripture says that in the last times of what? men will be lovers of themselves. The love of many will wax cold.
Yeah.
So like this mark of the beast, it's going to be like a mindset of like, hey, it's just all about me.
Selfish.
I am God. You know.
I love me.
Yeah, I love me.
Nobody else.
I did this, I did that. No acknowledgement to our Father at all.
At all.
That's
Pride,
all.
selfish pride.
That's going on now on social media, brother. Everybody on social media.
The worst thing that happened to mankind is social media. That is destroying the social construct. Like kids today don't even know how to have real conversations, how to build real relationships. All they know is iPad, iPhone, and how many followers and likes do you have?
Right.
And that's
How
not
many
real.
pictures can you post in one day and do
Right.
And meanwhile, they sit at home depressed
Yeah.
Yeah.
and want to commit suicide.
Yeah, it's
because
not
they
real.
Don't have a real life.
Yeah, it's a fantasy. It's not real. We gotta start getting our kids away from that stuff. So I'm pulling from another book because we're going over cannibalism and Satanism today, right? This book is called Cannibalism, Blood Drinking, and High Adept Satanism by Kurt Barker. So I don't want y'all to be ignorant of any of these mysteries, of any of the devices of the enemy. And like when you start reading this book, it's just like, I know we're not Christians, we believe in the truth, but there's a lot of people that are just unaware of what really goes on in the world. And this book talks specifically about how Christians are just naive.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Like, case in point. So remember the name Kurt Barker. All right. Go ahead, I'll let you read this.
Growing up, most of my family members were Christians.
So they should be aware.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of my immediate family, none of these were Satanists or even aware of Satanism. But there was an older relative, a kind of family patriarch who openly practiced Christianity or privately practiced Satanism.
So he was a crypto Satanist.
Yeah.
Will act like he a Christian,
You know how they do.
but really he a doggone devil,
Yeah. Yeah.
a demon.
You know how they do. Yeah. Also, there were some other more distant, older relatives who were Satanists. Satanic secret societies are very secretive and careful about who they recruit, and for various reasons they want to be.
So at this point in time, this author is a 12-year-old child.
Really?
And the parents who are Christian don't even know that some of their relatives are Satanists.
Yeah.
And then, so we as parents, we have got to make sure that we know those who labor among us and that we know who our children are actually around.
Yeah.
Because if we got family members or friends that we know are Satanists, our kids should not be around none of that nonsense. That's crazy.
Facts.
They be wolves in sheep's clothing. So we'll keep going. So now, learning about Satanism means that we have to understand that not all Satanists believe the same thing, right? Okay. So, case in point, it says, not all Satanists practice cannibalism or blood drinking, and not all Satanists practice deviant sex. In fact, I would say that a majority of Satanists reject such practices. Those Satanists who I would describe as high adept Satanists are the most powerful of all Satanists. So the ones that are high adept Satanists, right?
Okay.
Some high adept practitioners may dabble in cannibalism or deviant sex because it amuses them, but they never use such practices as part of their religious rituals. The high adept Satanists are primarily concerned with psychic powers. Why would they want to be dabbling in psychic powers? Just asking y'all.
So, you know, that makes you stronger. Like, you can do anything with psychic power.
Because you can control people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So are we supposed to be dabbling in psychic powers and stuff like that?
No.
So we're going to go to Deuteronomy 18. And we're going to read verses 10 through 15. You can go ahead, Ike.
There shall not be found among you one that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or that useth divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or necromancer. For all that do these things are an abomination unto the Most High. And because of these abominations, the Most High thy Yah doeth drive them out from before thee.
So all the people that were in the lands that were getting driven out at that point in time were doing all of that type of satanic nonsense.
Yeah.
And that was the reason why the Most High said he drove them out. So it wasn't because we were so righteous. It was because they were so wicked. Now we're learning about Satanism, so keep that in mind. Keep going.
Thou shalt be perfect with the Most High thy Yah. For these nations which thou shalt possess, hearken unto observers of time, and unto diviners.
Right. Observance of times is what?
Like
Astrology
yeah,
and all that weirdo stuff.
the zodiacs and all that weird
Hmm.
stuff. But as for thee, the Most High thy Yah hath not suffered thee so to do. The Most High thy Yah will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thy brethren, like unto me. Unto him ye shall hearken.
So the Most High raises men and women that are prophets or prophetess for His purposes and glory.
Yeah.
We don't have to go to psychics and all those other mediums, right? But the high adept Satanists get into that weirdo nonsense.
Psychic powers.
Hmm. So what?
And don't know anything.
Right? So Isaiah 47, verses 9 through 13. But these two things shall come to you in a moment, in one day. This is talking about Babylon. The loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon you in their perfection for the multitude of your sorceries. So even back then and even now they're doing sorcery, witchcraft. And for great abundance of your enchantments. For you have trusted in your wickedness. You have said, none see you. Your wisdom and your knowledge, it have perverted you. And you have said in your heart, I am, and none else beside me. Therefore shall evil come upon you. You shall not know from whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon you. You shall not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon you suddenly, which you shall not know. Stand now with your enchantments and with the multitude of your sorceries, wherein you have labored from your youth. If so be, you shall be able to profit. If so be you mayest prevail. You are wearied in the multitude of your counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save you from the things that shall come upon you. So again, this is the type of things the Satanists and really the world get into, especially Babylon. People, that's why I'm so glad I'm not on social media anymore, because people always be talking about they sign and what's going on, and oh, I can't be with you because you're a Leo. No, you're a Scorpio. Like, what the heck does that matter?
And you might be missing out on your whole big blessing.
Yeah,
Because you're so worried
Big
about
Capricorn.
it.
Yeah,
all
you
that weird
big
stuff.
Cancer. Like, what are you talking about? It's weird. Stuff is weird, man. So then Daniel 2, verses 1 through 2. And in the second year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar dreamed dreams, wherewith his spirit was troubled, and his sleep brake from him. And then the king commanded to call the magicians, and the astrologers, and the sorcerers, and the Chaldeans, for to show the king his dreams. So they came and stood before the king. So all these people came, and there was only one person that could give him the interpretation of the dream.
Daniel.
But people want to believe in that. Revelation 18.
And then he want them to tell him this dream about him telling them what happened. Like,
Yeah. And only the Most High could do it through Daniel, right?
yeah, like,
Revelation 18, verses 20 through 24. Go ahead.
rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for Yah hath avenged you on her.
This is talking about that future Babylon that is to be destroyed. America is a part of that system. Keep going.
And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone, and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall thou great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all.
It's coming. Keep going.
And the voice of harpers and musicians and of pipers and trumpeters shall be heard no more at all in thee. And no craftsman of whatsoever craft he be shall be found any more in thee. And the sound of a millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee. And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee. And the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth. For by thy sorceries were all nations deceived.
So in the end, there is a Babylonian system that deceives everyone through witchcraft and sorcery.
Yeah.
Satanism.
And
Right?
And in her was found the blood of prophets and of saints
So again, in this day and time, we're still dealing with sorcery, and this is of the highest level, the highest level of sorcery. So some things to think about the core when it deals with Satanism. All Satanists reject the truth of the scriptures. We know that. Every true Satanist believes and lives by the code of secrecy or secret society. Satanism at its core is used to gain worldly power, the end goal of taking over the world. The end goal of Satanism, according to this book, is to take over the world. Okay, so Satanism is as diverse and complex as Christianity. You know, in Christianity, there's thousands of different sects, denominations. Same thing in Satanism. It's not a one-size-fits-all. Not every Satanist is the same, and their doctrines differ depending on how extreme the professor of Satanism is. So that's why when we say that MAGA is the highest form of Satanism, and they decided to make Trump's whole slogan, political backing called MAGA, they're letting you know in the forefront this has to do with anti-Mashiach, anti-the Most High, Satanism, adversarial.
Bro, hey, you know, anytime he talks about God, we love you, God, we love you, Lord. He never says a name.
Yeah, he don't.
Yeah.
He's talking because he's talking about Baal.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, he's talking about Baal.
Thank you, Lord.
Yeah. Baal, right? The false fallen one, right?
Oh, man.
That's what he's talking about. So, and I don't know if y'all are aware, as we keep going, that Iran put out that Israel and the United States are going to be planning a false flag type of event that's like 9/11, and are going to blame them for it.
What?
China put something out similar to that as well.
Well, it was already two of them said. Turkey got hit and Obama got hit, but Iran said those were false flags by America.
Right, because they're literally trying to create a crusade, a holy war, and trying to galvanize the white Christian national American body to go to war and fight. And then when that happens, they're going to try to bring all of the other non-white people into the war like they always do.
They're already sending 4,500 Marines and sailors over there.
Right, for no reason.
Yeah.
Because again, the Secretary of Iran's Supreme National Security Council said he had heard of an alleged plot to stage an attack similar to 9/11 and falsely blame it on Iran. Now, this came out about 6 days ago.
So that means it's going to be a bunch of Americans dying.
Yeah.
Man,
So look, so this came out March the 15th is when this article came out, right? In a post on X, Larijani said Iran opposed such terrorist attacks in principle and was not at war with the American people. So they're saying we're not at war with y'all.
Yeah.
He said Tehran was currently defending itself in response to the United States and Israeli attacks and would do so strongly and firmly to punish the aggressors.
And he did, yeah.
Right. So they got him, right? Shortly after he actually put this out, actually. So again, beware of false flags, right? Beware of these things. So I know I told y'all, I don't think I'm going to show this video. I told y'all I'd show y'all. Do y'all want to see the video of the coming Jewish Messiah?
Yeah. Go ahead, man.
Okay. Fair uses for educational and training purposes.
Belief among some Jewish people that the Messiah is coming this year. Many of them are believing that Donald Trump in America is playing a role in that coming to fruition. Of course, we know that the Bible says the Antichrist and the false prophet come first, which is exactly who could be leading these people astray in the not too distant future, just like the Yanuka Rav Shlomo, who is still in Israel and performing miracles. We'll get into all of that in this video. We'll start this off first with this article that was recently posted on Israel 365 News, saying that the Messiah is coming this year and the war with Iran is the proof. Most of this article is quoting from Torah Thinker YouTube channel from this Jewish Rabbi Mendel Kessin. The first few paragraphs talk about a structure of evil that is upon the earth, and the Jewish people believe that the Messiah is coming and that these structures of evil are in the process of being defeated. Jewish Rabbi Kessin says that Iran is this last form of evil that has to be destroyed before the Messiah comes. He's also teaching, and many Jewish people believe this, that Donald Trump is being used as a massive instrument to usher in the Messiah.
It made no sense that this incredible honor of participating with the Jewish Messiah in the building of the Holy Temple and the establishment of God's kingdom on earth should be given to someone who is undeserving, to someone who represented the ugly side of America, which has been engaged in undermining the security and safety of the Jews who have returned to their ancestral homeland since day one, when the state was established in 1948. President Donald Trump was the first American president who stood up in defiance to the entrenched and endemic anti-Israel attitude of all previous U.S. administrations towards our presence in the Holy Land, an attitude that was in place for the past 70 years. Only he or somebody like him would be the person who deserves this great honor of representing Western society and fulfilling the prophecy uttered to our matriarch Rebecca: the elder one will serve the younger one. God's voice was heard loud and clear to anyone whose ears were open, and he chose the second non-Jewish Messiah, not to redeem the world. That job is reserved for the Jewish Messiah, who is a direct descendant of King David and his son Solomon. But like the first non-Jewish Messiah, Cyrus, who was chosen to assist the Jews in re-establishing themselves in the land of Israel after their 70-year exile in Babylon, the current non-Jewish Messiah was chosen to be of service to the Jewish people and the Jewish Messiah.
The article says Donald Trump, in Rabbi Kessin's reading, is the Gilgal of Esau, the good part. God saved Trump from an assassin's bullet by a quarter of an inch. Why, Rabbi Kessin asked? Well, now we see why: to take out Iran. Trump's seemingly unexpected pivot from the domestic MAGA politics to an aggressive, almost singular focus on dismantling the world's most dangerous regimes, Venezuela's Maduro captured in a flawless intelligence operation, the head of Mexico's cartels eliminated, and now the decapitation strike against Iran's leadership, is not a political anomaly. It's a mission. The Satan is dying, Rabbi Kessin said. He has no power in the court in heaven. Otherwise, how could you see so many heads of the armies of evil falling? Donald Trump is definitely being used, setting up Israel to be the main focus of the world stage, which is how we know a ton of Bible prophecies will unfold, and a ton of Jewish people believe that this is what's happening, but what they're missing is that they're expecting the Messiah to come to make everything right, when in reality what we know is coming is the Antichrist and the false prophet who leads people astray. Then Jesus Christ, the true Messiah, comes back the second time. There were some interesting connections made in this article to the strikes that just happened in Iran and some of the things that the Jewish people were recently reading and celebrating. Ali Khamenei, the Islamic regime's leader in Iran who recently got taken out, his name equals "this is Haman" and Gilgal Haman in Jewish gematria. And the same exact day that the Jews were reading the Parasha, which is their daily reading, that section of reading says that the Jews are to destroy Amalek. This was the same day that Iran's leadership was taken out, and they're viewing this as almost a prophetic fulfillment and that the Messianic age is coming soon. Again, what they don't realize is that the Bible very clearly says that the Antichrist and the false prophet come first to deceive and lead humanity astray. We'll look at how that's exactly what the Jewish people and really the world as a whole is looking for, and how we're seeing the stage for that being set up. But first, we'll read these last two sections of this article. The first one says the year of the Messiah. Rabbi Kessin then turned to the Jewish calendar, year 5786. This year, the gematria, or 786, is identical to the phrase Yavu Mashiach, the Messiah will come. The gematria is like a numerology type of thing that some Jews look into to try to look into the future or discern things that are happening. It's also the gematria that the revelation of the divine presence in Israel at Mount Sinai. He then cited the Yalkut Shimoni, a vast medieval compendium of Midrashim, which contains a passage that Rabbi Kessin has referenced for years. Written thousands of years ago, it states that in the year the Messiah comes, Persia will declare war against the entire world. Edom, identified with the West, specifically America, will fight back and defeat Persia. And then a divine voice, a Bat Kol, will ring out from heaven, "Do not worry, the time of your redemption has arrived." What that means very simply, Rabbi Kessin said, is that this is the last war. He was emphatic, we have crossed a threshold, the era of Itvetka de Mashiach, the footsteps of the Messiah, the period preceding the Messianic era is over. We are now in the beginning of redemption, and that process, once started, is irrevocable. It cannot be turned back, Rabbi Kessin said. It cannot be reversed. The last section of this article is called The Third Temple This Year. Rabbi Kessin went on to quote different commentaries and also looking into other gematria things and what he believes to be different encoded numbers within different sections of weekly Torah readings. And he said that these encoded numbers mention the duration of the first and second temples, which were 410 years and then 420 years. And then the last numbers in the gematria is 786, which is the last three numbers in this current year of 5,786. So in 5,786, which is this year, that is actually when the third Beit HaMikdash, or the third temple, will be built. Rabbi Kessin said, don't be surprised if you wake up one day and all of a sudden the newspapers are reporting, we can't believe it, there's actually a temple sitting on top of the Temple Mount. So why this matters to keep an eye on when the Jewish people are expecting their Messiah, or any group of people are expecting their Messiah or the third temple, is because what we know that comes first, that precedes that, is the revealing of the Antichrist and the false prophet, which makes it really interesting when someone like the Yenuka Rav Shlomo, this Jewish person in Israel, comes on the scene. All these people are flocking to him because they say that he performs miracles. That's interesting too, because in the book of Revelation, we hear that the Antichrist and the false prophet will perform signs and wonders also. I made a video recently on my second channel, Sling and Stone Live, in relation to this video that was posted last year, which was a recent interview with the Yenuka Rav Shlomo, and he is in Israel still, continuing to be sought after by many of the Jewish people, and still performing miracles, which should have everyone on high alert when you hear such things, especially in Israel. Now, he's not taking credit for these miracles. When asked about it in this interview, he says that he gives the credit to God and it's just something that's happening through him. When the Antichrist and the false prophet perform their signs and wonders, they will attribute it to themselves because they will set themselves up to be God and demand worship. Anytime we see anybody having miracles attributed to them, especially people who do not proclaim that Jesus is the Messiah, and especially even people in the Middle East or in Israel, since we know so many Bible prophecies will be unfolding and fulfilled in that part of the world, it's definitely something to pay attention to. So why this really matters is because Jesus Christ is the Messiah. He's the only way to God. He is the true Christ, the Son of God. This is easily provable without even looking at anything in the New Testament, just using the Old Testament. It's extremely obvious. Isaiah 53, it could not be more clear.
So, you know, we're on the road to Pesach, or Passover. So their Passover, I believe, is like the week of April 2nd, 5th, somewhere around there. So I wouldn't be surprised if they stayed something around that time period. This is the spiritual time. You know, we know our Passover until like the 15th. But I'm just saying, I just wanted y'all to be aware. They're claiming their Messiah's here this year, so that means, for lack of a better term, all hell about to break loose.
There's a growing
Name stealers. Yeah. Jewish Messiah, and the second Jewish, when they say Trump is the second non-Jewish Messiah, I'm like, where does it say that in the text?
It's not.
Like, you don't see none of that in there. They just be adding stuff. Oh, we're pulling from the Talmud. No, this is the Mishnah. Oh, okay. This is the Gemara. You know, this is the Kabbalah. I know. That's what I'm saying, which is not the.
They're making a way for their God to come in.
Oh, 100%. Because, like, one of our really intelligent, learned and studied brothers that know the Hebrew has gone back and really kind of found out that even what they call the Talmud was not the original that came down orally anyway. So all of that stuff is fugazi, came from Babylon.
Yeah.
The Talmud came.
Facts.
Those people, they read from the Babylonian Talmud.
Facts.
So the Talmud of the Antichrist,
Yeah, facts.
of the first Antichrist,
Yeah,
Nimrod.
facts, Nimrod. Yeah. Damn.
I didn't put that together. Okay. So some more core tenets of Satanism. The name Lucifer can be associated with the planet Venus and the ancient goddess Ishtar, Easter. The name Satan can be associated with the planet Saturn and the ancient god Baal or Baal. Satan and Lucifer, this is what Satanists believe, are different entities, but they use the same telephone. If you call their number, either one can pick up. So, in their eyes are two different things.
Answer the same call. Yeah.
Some Luciferians identify their beliefs with the mystery schools of ancient Egypt, Greece, and Rome, which taught mysticism and hidden knowledge. Some Luciferians are high-degree Freemasons who conceal their true philosophy from lower-ranked Masons and the public in general. Because once you reach a certain level, you learn that it's Satanism. Freemasonry, that's what it is. Satanism. Everything's about secrecy and deception. So it says, many Luciferians are really politically oriented, such as those in the Fabian Society, who wish to create a global socialist civilization. In his book, New World Order, H.G. Wells gave an idealistic description of what such a global government would be like. Some Satanists are scientific rationalists who see Satanism as a mechanism to reject the superstition of traditional religions. Although they may not openly identify themselves as Satanists, the skeptic movement and transhumanism have their roots in Satanism. So any of that other type of stuff that people be talking about, no, that's Satanism. The atheistic rhetoric of the skeptics movement sounds similar to the doctrine of atheistic Satanism, and this is not a coincidence. The transhumanists wish to check this out. This is crazy. The transhumanists wish to use computers, robotics, and genetic engineering to create a new species that will displace humanity. Julian Huxley, who first founded the transhumanist movement, was a member of the Luciferian secret society. People don't be knowing the origins of this stuff. I'm like, Satan has created this. They want to replace humanity. This stuff is wild, bro. So anybody talking that transhuman, like, you can get away from me, Satan. Get thee behind me. And all this stuff goes back to agendas that goes back to ancient Babylon and the mixing and the rebellion of people. I want to replace y'all with a counterfeit, man. That's wild. Some Satanists seek to understand magical workings by which they can develop psychic powers to manipulate other people and events. The students of Aleister Crowley follow this path. So Aleister Crowley, his main proponents and his students want to control the world.
Do as thou wilt.
Do as thou wilt. Right? Some Luciferians are dedicated to the occult, such as the believers in Theosophy and the Order of the Golden Dawn. The word occult refers to hidden knowledge, and it involves secretive practices for utilizing psychic powers in ways that are unethical. This is what Satanists believe. Some Luciferians wish to unify the world by creating a new globalist religion which merges all religions into one world religion. This seems to be the goal of Lucis Trust, which was originally called Lucifer Publications and is now associated with the United Nations. Did you hear what it's associated with?
Yeah, United Nations.
So what is Lucis Trust? Have you ever heard of it?
No, I haven't.
Okay, can you read this slide out?
Lucis Trust. There gotta be some, like, a trust, something to do with money and all that.
Just read it out.
The Lucis Trust is a non-profit educational and service organization founded in 1922
Over 100 years ago.
by Alice Bailey and her husband, Foster Bailey, to promote world peace, goodwill, and spiritual education.
So it's a good thing then, right? It should be a good thing, right?
On the surface, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Based on esoteric philosophy, it works to establish right human relations through initiatives like the Arcane School, World Goodwill, and Triangles.
Oh, no, keep reading because it gets better.
Key aspects of the Lucis Trust, the mission, dedicated to fulfilling a divine plan for humanity through education, meditation, and service focusing on spiritual principles.
Now, I didn't say the divine plan, it said a divine plan.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going.
Origins, incorporated in 1922 as the Lucifer Publishing Company, later renamed
Oh, thank you.
from Lucius to Lucifer.
Mm-hmm.
Activities, operates the arcane school or esoteric training, world goodwill, triangles, at meditation network, and a publishing house for Alice Bailey's 24 books on occult philosophy. United Nations role, recognized as a non-governmental organization or NGO with consultative status on the UN Economic and Social Council.
So they consult the UN?
Yeah.
Lucifer Publishing or Lucius Trust?
Whoa, whoa.
Okay, keep going.
Funded entirely through donations
Now, look at where they're headquartered out, though.
and the sale of its publications. The headquarters is located in London, New York, and Geneva.
London, New York, and Geneva.
Yeah.
That's like what Rome, that's kind of like where Rome sits, right?
Kind of like.
Because, like, when this Babylonian system is run through London, that's the banking side, technically. New York, we know that that had been the headquarters of the UN, but then now they done switched it to Africa now. And Geneva's where all of the business and agreements get made in Geneva, right? Switzerland.
Everybody knows we make big deals, business deals. You know? The
Yeah.
organization focuses on promoting a new and better way of life through fostering global cooperation and spiritual understanding.
Yeah, we're going to get a spiritual
All about your
understanding.
spirit.
Yeah, yeah. A demonic spirit is
Yeah.
what they talking
All
about.
about your spirit, man.
So go ahead, read this slide out. So this is about the Luciferian community, right? Okay, keep going.
The most financially powerful Satanists in the world are wealthy aristocrats who control vast resources. They maintain their power with the help of criminal enforcers. The most dangerous of those criminal enforcers are Satanists who practice cannibalism and blood drinking.
Wait, so we're talking about these wealthy aristocrats? Because remember earlier it said in Satanism, the majority of people don't even eat blood, but it was a minority of people that were the wealthy.
But the wealthy ones do,
And these are the same ones that,
like Epstein and all them.
Yep.
Yeah.
so now you see the connection a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
But even more powerful than the plutocrats and their criminal enforcers are the high adept Satanists. These are occultists who use their psychic powers to manipulate people in order to control the events of the world.
So they literally be controlling the world. Like,
So
and
the world's a stage.
it's a stage. And when you start thinking the lines of MK Ultra and programming, social programming, social media was engineered to program people.
Yeah.
And there's witches and Satanists behind all of this stuff that's moving the world into manifesting certain outcomes.
Yeah.
That's their whole end game. Because again, the end goal of Satanism is to control the world. Right? Keep going.
The word adept refers to being skillful. A high adept Satanists are highly skillful at using psychic powers, and they use them in ways that harm others.
So they want to hurt you.
You gotta get out of the way.
So what's an aristocrat?
It's usually like a rich politician or a rich person or whatever.
Something to that effect,
A
right?
bougie person.
Right. So an aristocrat is a member of a ruling class of nobility, typically characterized by inherited titles, landed wealth, and high social standing, originated from the Greek Aristos best and Kratos rule. They were historically considered the best citizens, often holding power just below a monarch. They would have nobility and titles. Aristocrats frequently hold hereditary titles: Duke, Count, Earl. Once it says Duke, that's dealing with Esau. But like that's what the aristocracy is. Like you said, wealthy people that are part of the nobility.
Isn't the count usually a vampire too?
I mean, there was a vampire there were vampires that were called counts. Yeah. So, satanic plutocracy, the problem. So again, I'm just showing y'all about Satanism because this is all tied to Epstein. This is all tied to Nat Turner. All of this stuff. It says globalist, plutocratic Satanism is behind virtually every major problem in this troubled world. You stand a better chance of surviving these difficult times if you understand the true nature of Satanism. This is true no matter what your belief system. The leaders of Luciferian secret societies tend to deceive even their own followers. So even practicing Luciferians need insights into the nature of how their religion actually works. Blood drinking, cannibalism, and pedophiliac sex are only common among the minority of Satanists who run the secret criminal operations. So only the mainly the ones doing it are the leaders, the ones that are the movers and shakers, the aristocrats, the high adept. However, these criminal Satanists enforce the desires of a global plutocracy. I believe that when more people understand the nature of the globalist plutocracy, they will come to oppose it. I will tell you something else that you might find peculiar. I believe that most Satanists, if they came to understand the true nature of plutocratic globalism, would also come to oppose it. Now, he's saying this because this is, so even before we get to that next slide, what we should be doing is putting on the whole armor of the Most High. Because they got witches, warlocks, Satanists in high places that are literally using psychic powers, MK Ultra, other schemes in place to control the world and to put us in jeopardy, to put us in danger, right? So we know Ephesians 6. If you don't mind, go ahead.
Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor thy father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise, that it may be well with thee, and thou mayest live long on the earth. And ye, fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and
admonition.
Admonition of the Most High. Servants, be obedient to them that are masters according to the flesh, and fear and trembling, and singleness of your heart, as unto Christ.
Right.
Not with eye service as men pleasers, but as the servants of Christ, doing the will of Yah from the heart, with good will doing service as to the Most High and not to men, knowing that whatsoever good thing any man doeth, the same shall he receive of the Most High, whether he be bond or free. And ye masters, do the same things unto them, forbearing, threatening, knowing that your master also is in heaven, neither is there respect of persons with him. Finally, my brother, be strong in the Most High, and in the power of his might.
We got to be strong in this thing. Again, this is about the armor of the Most High, right? Got to have the helmet of salvation, the shield of faith, the belt of truth, and the sword of the Spirit for the gospel of peace. Keep going.
Put on the whole armor of Yah, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil.
Why? Keep going.
For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. So most of the time when you hear that, people go automatically strictly to the spiritual realm without the physical connotation, because these people that's into cannibalism and human sex trafficking and just have think tanks that just come up with stuff just to murder people, that's spiritual wickedness in high places. That's the original context of the scriptures when you're dealing with that. Bro, they are the aristocracy, right? Man. Presidents and
kings and
what was Epstein, his position?
Nobody knows what he was doing. He was like a double spy.
Yeah.
Nobody knows how he got his money or anything, through blackmail or through whitemail.
Or Jared Kushner and his pops and all that.
It's coming up out of even Trump, man. Like, people don't realize his last name was not Trump. It was Drumpf.
It was what?
Drumpf. It was not Trump. They changed their family name to Trump. And I want to say he's a German also. So you start seeing like the stuff that be going crazy, and it'd be like the same group of people doing everything. Same group of people that leads the world into witchcraft and Satanism and Christianity, and people don't even know that a lot of those Christianity leaders are secret Satanists. Like, a lot of them dudes, like, you see all these videos of these guys that are, this prosperity gospel, these healing ministries or whatever, and They got microphones in their ears. They got people looking up where these people live at and what's going on with their families online. And then they act like, you know, they're doing this and God's healing that. Like,
Yeah.
it's a show. It's for the money.
Like that room right with the pop off.
Yeah. Yeah.
His wife was like in his earpiece talking about, oh yeah, this lady right here, she's coming out. This is what's wrong with her. She wants you to pray for her daughter and all that.
That's not her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the one behind her. Yeah. Yeah.
That's not her.
Yeah.
That's a wow.
The church is a business, man.
Yeah.
It's a business, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but okay.
13.
Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of Yah, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand.
That means praying consistently, standing on the promises of the Most High, believing in your prayers daily, visualizing that whole armor being put on you while you're praying also, right? Keep going.
Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness,
Right.
and your feet shod with the
Preparation of the gospel of peace.
Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked.
Because like that shield of faith, man,
Yeah.
gets you a long way.
Yeah.
Can save your life, can save your children's lives,
Yeah.
spouses' lives. It can give you that discernment to where you be like, oh no, actually, son, you're not going over to that person's house. I just got a bad, we ain't not doing. I ain't even met their parents yet. No, we ain't going for none of that. We ain't going for none of that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And take the helmet of salvation,
Salvation.
and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of Yah, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints.
For all the saints, that's the whole armor of the Most High, especially when you come to dealing with the spiritual wickedness, because it's bad. Like as you keep going into this book, like this stuff is weird, bro. Because many of the wealthiest aristocrats who come from families which practice generational Satanism, they practice generational Satanism.
Yeah, they pass it down. Yeah, they pass it down.
Now have plans to betray their fellow Satanists. You should not assume that a dragon is friend to all other dragons. In fact, most dragons secretly hate their fellow dragons, and as well they should, for there is no threat to a dragon greater than his or her fellow dragons. Now, again, this is going back to the author. As a child, I was subjected to satanic ritual abuse. As I said before, although the members of my immediate family were not Satanists and knew nothing of Satanism, they were just naive. They weren't really praying over their kid. They couldn't have been. An older family patriarch was a well-connected Satanist. A former Nazi who my family called Shotzi was a nanny and a babysitter to me. She had been introduced to my nuclear family by this family patriarch. So this Satanist brings it to the family. A Nazi war criminal. She had been brought over to the United States by the CIA under the umbrella of Operation Paperclip. Germans. Germans. She was trained in a form of MK Ultra mind control by the CIA. She attempted to use MK Ultra methods on me, but was unsuccessful. So it didn't work. Praise Yah, right? So another Satanist who was an associate of my family's patriarch used other methods. His name was Bob, and he used a combination of techniques including hypnotism. I was trained and conditioned to have two personalities. When I was with my Christian family, I was called by the name of Kurth. When I was involved with Luciferian secret societies, I was known by the name of Kathy.
So hold on, is he a boy or girl?
These were really two different lifestyles and two different cultures. I had two different personalities, each of which fit.
Trans. He's a trans personality. Hold on, man. Was he a little boy or girl?
The Society of Lucifer. This book is wild, man. The Society of Lucifer. Into these two different cultures, but the Christian culture knew nothing of the Luciferian culture, while the Luciferians knew everything about the Christians. That's the problem. Yeah. We don't know what type of weapons or devices we up against. Yeah. Have no clue, just in La La Land. And I'm not talking about Christians. I'm just talking about believers.
But they know that they be in the church.
Yeah. So they know every trick and everything that we gonna try. Yeah. And then we know nothing about them. That's why we're pulling the curtains back so you can see the Wizard of Oz,
Yep.
right? So the name we use for this secret culture of Satanism was the Society of Lucifer. So although I wasn't an initiated member of any specific secret society, I was a participant in the General Society of Lucifer. Both the patriarch and Bob worked for a man nicknamed the Baron. He was the head of a secret criminal syndicate. Among other things, the Baron ran a pedophile sex ring. He used child prostitutes to secretly film powerful men performing acts of pedophilia. Epstein. These films were then used for blackmail purposes. Epstein. Diddy. In my identity as Kathy, I was trained and used as a child prostitute. I was also forced to star in child porno films. The Baron worked for an organization known as the Committee, which was located somewhere in Europe. But this is
Why would he let them give him another personality anyway? Like,
he's a child, and your parents just let you go with this patriarch,
so it wasn't
not protecting you.
It was growing.
Huh?
So it wasn't he.
No, it's a child. I just don't want us to be ignorant because this is wild. You got to have a defensive prayer and pray that that's one thing I've been praying, that he increases all of our discernment so we can discern between friend and foe,
Yes.
because that's wild. Yeah, somewhere in Europe. So we'll keep going. That stuff's wild. The head. Let me make sure this is the right slide. Hold on. Yeah, that's it. I thought you did. The head of the satanic covenant's witches, that claimed ownership of me was a wealthy Satanist named the Baron. He wasn't royalty, but he was proud of his reputation as a robber baron. He was known for stealing stuff. Everyone in the Society of Lucifer called him the Baron, and everyone called me Kathy, although I was a boy.
There you go.
I was trying to get there. Let me get there. Yeah, so his name was Kurt, but whenever they activate him, he's Kathy. Two personalities. And when the Baron wanted to have access to me, he would arrange it in various ways. When he wanted to have access to Kathy,
Wow.
Kurt would be put to sleep with hypnotism and other methods. Then Kathy would be awakened. But really, I was two different modes. Wait, did I? Really, I was he was a little boy, my bad. So now, because I skipped a bunch of it, right? So you're getting to just all kinds of wickedness going on. This whole trans movement is Satanism. All of this, I know the way you look at it, like it's disgusting, and it is.
Yeah.
It is. But this is Satanism at its core. I'm trying to show y'all.
I went to the car wash yesterday, and it was a whole man had on fingernail polish and all that.
Ask for your number or something? You look.
Nah, but I was like, bro, are you serious, bro? Like, come on, man. I don't even wash my car no more.
I said it ain't safe. And then, like, we got to realize that, again, like, this wickedness is at every level. That's why our prayer lives have got to be intact. That's why I'm glad we're continuing with the men's thing. Because we got to be praying together on the same page. Because we're mighty when we're together. We're Gibberim when we're together. So then, after he's going through all this backstory, the Baron sends for Kurt or Kathy to go on this trip to a specific place, right? So it says, we rode to our destination in a comfortable limo owned by the Baron. Now, strangely enough, there were books written about Donald Trump, and in that book, he was actually called the Baron. It's kind of strange. But anyway, I digress. The limo was driven by a man who acted as the Baron's butler, driver, and bodyguard. So he was a butler, driver, bodyguard. In the front seat with him was a woman who worked as for the Baron as a maid, sex worker, and assassin. So they both triple threats. Like the Baron, they were initiated members of a satanic secret society, and they had sworn their loyalty to the Baron and the Church of Satan. Satan's got his own assembly. I wasn't an initiated Satanist. I was just property owned by the Baron. That's wild to me. If I didn't obey the Baron and do as he told me, I knew that he would kill my mother and torture me to death. I also knew that there was no point in going to the authorities. I had been forced to sexually service a police commissioner under the control of the Baron. Spiritual wickedness in high places. You can't even get out of that. How you going to get away from it?
The top cop.
I mean,
The Commissioner Gordon.
that's what we're seeing now, though. The FBI is holding those Exxon files, not to let them
Yeah. And it, by law, they have to release it all unredacted, and they refuse to.
Yeah.
Stuff is weird, wild.
They're trying to protect that head FBI agent. That's why.
Yeah.
What's his name? Patel?
Patel.
Everybody has something to do with it.
Yeah.
Because they got blackmail on everybody.
And look, he ain't had no type of work trial. Like he ain't never been an FBI agent, nothing like that.
No, like he had no experience at all. It was the weirdest.
And now he's an FBI director.
Yeah, it's weird, bro.
Yeah.
He put somebody in place to protect the cover up.
Yeah, that's what he did. All these people are there to put in place to help protect him.
And instead of releasing everything, we're going to war with Iran.
Even Pam Bondi or whatever her name is, she's the worst, bro.
Mm-hmm.
She is the worst. Boy.
She's a Satanist, for sure. One thing about Satanists is that they like to turn things around. Whatever believers society does, they do the opposite. The satanic trainers want to de-pattern the mindset of mainstream society. They believe that good is evil and evil is good. Therefore, from their point of view, it's good to. So they believe that good is evil and evil is good. Isaiah 5, verse 20. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. That's exactly what Satanists do. But they believe that it's good to train little boys to dress like little girls. And you know what, Jamal, I'll let you read this slide. Go ahead.
What?
Go ahead. You got it.
Training little boys to dress like little girls. Like most little boys, I hate the idea of being forced to dress like a girl. But the Baron was having none of that. Whenever I was around the Baron, he insisted that I dress like a girl. His intention was to pattern my Christian socialization, but also he felt sexually aroused by little boys who dressed as girls. So
Ugh.
the Baron dabbled in pedophiliac sex sometimes, but typically he preferred adults. Wow, and he was bisexual.
Just everywhere.
Sound like Trump.
Hmm.
He had a voracious appetite for certain things: sex, wealth, power, rare books, knowledge, gourmet food, alcohol, and revenge against those who dared to betray him. He loved being a Satanist. When I was dressed up as a little girl, hold on. When he was dressed up as a little girl, he didn't really look pretty. Yeah, I gotta put these words right here.
You got to correct that.
Yeah, hold on. When he dressed up as a little girl, he didn't really look pretty. He looked like a homely, boyish girl. I'm not sure why satanic pedophiles are turned on by this, but then again, I can't pretend to understand how, pedophiles think.
The kid's 18. Verses 1 through 3, 6, 9, and 21 through 22.
I'm like, personal, whatever, man.
Because we know we're not supposed to be wearing anything that pertains to a man to a woman and vice versa. And Yahuwah spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, I am Yahuwah your Elohim. After the doings of the land of Egypt wherein you dwelt, shall you not do. And after the doings of the land of Canaan, whither I bring you, you shall not do. Neither shall you walk in their ordinances. Verse 6, None of you shall approach to any that is near of kin to him, to uncover their nakedness. I am Yahuwah. There's a reason why we're reading this real quick. Verse 9, The nakedness of your sister, the daughter of your father, or the daughter of your mother, whether she be born at home or born abroad, even their nakedness you shall not uncover. Thou shalt not let any of their seed, of your seed, pass through the fire to Molech. Neither shall you profane the name of your Elohim. I am Yahuwah. You shall not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is an abomination. So all that stuff is just weirdo nonsense. And we know we're not allowed to prostitute our sons or our daughters or anything like that, right? Okay. Keep going on.
He had a cane that he often carried, and he smacked me with it hard across my butt.
So he did that. Backstory is because Kathy looked at herself in the mirror, didn't like it, so she slouched her shoulders down and she wasn't happy. And he wasn't going for none of that. He's like, no, you better be happy. So he smacked her with that cane. Him.
Oh, you gonna be happy.
Yeah. You're going to put on this facade. Now watch the mental gymnastics and the mental warfare that puts on this child, because again, this is only around 12 years old.
In a voice filled with emotion, he said, "Now I'll have none of that grumpy Gus behavior on this day of all days. None of that indeed. No slumping your shoulders and frowning like a stupid little boy. You may act like that when you are with your idiot Christian family.
That's what they think about believers, though.
Yeah. But this afternoon, you are meeting with important members of the Society of Lucifer. And remember that we are your real family.
Wow.
You have been trained better than this. So, well, that's so let's see you smile and shine like the darling little girly boy you really are." Did I even know you sound right?
But this is a non-fiction work. This is based off a true story. Yeah.
Really? Like the little, what, I don't know, man, darling little girly boy you really are. That don't even sound right, man. The harsh pain in his buttocks woke him up instantly. I could feel my heart beat harder. He felt his feminine persona wash over him. Instantly, he felt wiser and more confident. He pulled his shoulders back. The feeling of the trainer helped him to correct his posture. He robotically smiled in a girlish way. He held his head up high and put his hands on his hips. He took another look in the mirror at the dress and realized that it was made of beautiful material. Oh man.
Read the next one. This one.
The Baron laughed and clapped his hands. With gladness in his voice, he said, "Now there's his Kathy. And don't you look just ravishing, my dear girly boy. You look good enough to eat."
Now you see the perversion and everything?
Yeah.
It's anti the order that the Most High set up through Yahusha. Satanism.
Wow.
It's anti everything's backwards. It's the literal upside down of the world. Everything's inverted, right? Keep going.
You look good enough to eat. The maid who had dressed him giggled. Out of the side of her mouth, she said to the Baron, "Don't say anything like that around the two sisters. You know how they are. They might take you literally."
What do you mean by that?
Yeah.
Because
They don't know.
Kathy's right there.
Yeah, they don't know. The sisters don't know, I guess. I don't know.
No. She said, "Don't say that around the sisters. They may take you literally."
Oh, about eating them up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The
That-
Baron figured, the Baron laughed at that. He kissed him delicately.
Disgusting.
Wow.
So as they're going on this trip, like they're being so secretive, they're not really letting Kathy or Kurth really go outside too much. I mean, they wouldn't. He gave her like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, half of it's like if you're a good girl here, I'll give you the other half on the way back. And they're very secretive about everything. Matter of fact, everywhere that Kathy was going on this trip, they put these blindfolded glasses on so she wouldn't know or he wouldn't know exactly where they were going to. Everything was a secret. And the thing about, so they're talking about these two sisters. And this is where we start getting to the parentage of the two sisters. So it says, this incestuous married couple discovered a book written by a fellow Satanist. These are the parents of the two sisters. This author had been a student of Sigmund Freud, and he had a degree in psychiatry. This satanic Freudian psychiatrist had postulated that in the future, this is what some Satanists believe, in the future, this satanic Freudian psychiatrist had postulated that in the future, everyone in the world will be promiscuous homosexual pedophiles. This is a future some of them are trying to create literally. And you know how we know they're trying to create that? Look at the movies. Look at the acceptance. Look at even what they're doing with the whole e-file situation. You know, they're trying to normalize it and lull people to sleep, right? So he based this and twisted them in that direction. So this satanic psychiatrist projected that in the future, everyone would be sexually promiscuous because sexual repression was the basis for all neurosis. Therefore, the government will demand sexual promiscuity. The government will demand, from all its citizens in order to cure society, of neurosis. Furthermore, this satanic author made the assumption that in the future everyone will be required by law to be homosexual. This this is what some of these Satanists are trying to bring to fruition. This would be a method of preventing overpopulation. He predicted that in order to accept this unnatural sexual orientation, people would need to be continually socialized from birth and throughout their childhood. That's what they're doing now. That's literally what they're doing now. So the pedophiliac education of children would then become the norm. Therefore, for these reasons of satanic logic, he predicted that in the future, everyone in the world will be, again, promiscuous homosexual pedophiles. This is what a book of Satanists wrote. This is the type of wickedness that we up against, and our prayer life has got to go to another level. This stuff is wild. We were escorted up to the front door and led inside by them. There we found the two sisters standing in the lobby of their home. They looked nearly identical, except that they were dressed differently. One looked traditionally feminine in a dress with long hair, and the other looked feminine as well. But her clothing and her short hair gave her a slight manly appearance. She wore what looked like a man's suit, except that it had lace and decorative stitchery, and the tie that she wore turned out to be made of black pearls. So now we're going to talk about the two sisters. The two sisters, right? So talking about their parents. You want to read about their parents? You want me to?
Oh, you got it.
Okay. Their parents were brother and sister
Oh,
that switched their identities to be able to get married. Because their parents knew that they fell in love with each other, so they switched their identities so they could get married.
so they didn't have a chance from the start.
They didn't have a chance. These are those generational Satanists.
Oh, my goodness.
Through a new version of Satanism, they started to believe in homosexualism, and both parents starting having homosexual relationships. So again, this is their parents. So their parents start having homosexual relationships. Now check this out. They then started hating each other and got divorced. Each parent receiving one of the daughters. The daughters were too young to remember each other, so they were raised to forget each other. They explained that their family was very concerned with their aristocratic bloodline. So that's talking about the two sisters. They explained that for many generations, they only intermarried with other certain aristocratic families. And this way, they maintained their breeding. So the bloodline things is real. Yeah. They had two girl slaves that they would make to clean the bathrooms with literal, not toothpicks, toothbrushes. If they found anything with a magnifying glass to be dirty, they would immediately torture them. Also, in the house of these two sisters, they had this backyard. They had a picnic table and everything, but there was bars all upon the gates. There was even bars on the windows so the slaves could not escape. They would grow up and end up. So this is going back to the actual two sisters. So their parents start the homosexual marriages or relationships. They get divorced. The two girls grow up with each parent. The two girls end up growing up and going to the same school in New York City.
Don't even know each other.
Don't know each other. Since they were both raised by parents that conditioned them that homosexuality, pedophilia, and transhumanist relationships were okay, they eventually met each other and started dating. The two sisters.
Wow.
They fell in love with each other. No, and wrote letters to their parents explaining the situation. The parents realized what happened, so they planned a date to meet each other and tell them the truth.
Wow.
The parents then arranged for their daughters to join the Illuminati. But after seeing their children in the secret society and living this lifestyle, it didn't sit right with the parents. The father went mad seeing the daughters in another incestuous homosexual relationship and now sworn members of the Illuminati. He suffers with severe depression and commits suicide. The mother, who was a cocaine addict, died shortly after his death, and the daughters inherit the multi-million-dollar wealth.
Oh, wow.
And they're still together.
That's
Now, today's about Satanism and cannibalism. Sister wives. So, dinner is served. Bon appetit. Jamal, if you don't mind, go ahead. This stuff is wild. Say what? So, okay, a little bit more of the backstory. The Baron tells Kathy and anybody else that goes in, do not eat anything that they give you and don't drink anything they offer you. Just don't. Just tell them that you already ate.
Oh no.
So that's what the bear told them prior to going in there. I'm just warning you. Okay, go ahead. You got it, Ike. You got it, Ike. You got it.
The main dish was a meat plate.
Dinner is served, doggone it. Dig in.
Don't want none of that.
You so?
It was served on an oval silver platter.
It's fresh. We just pulled it off the grill.
I bet you did.
All right.
It was all very strange looking. It was made up of small slices of different types of meat that were garnished lightly with what looked like
Catsup. So that's just another way to say ketchup or spell ketchup.
Ketchup. Okay.
Yeah.
It had all been shaped to look like a rose.
How pretty.
The two sisters explained what was in it. They said that the meats were pork,
Unclean.
chicken,
Okay, that's good.
turkey,
Good.
venison,
Right.
beef, goat, and human flesh.
I say what?
Oh, and human flesh. They trimmed.
Hey man, they said you can have a plate, bro.
I'll pass on that one.
They giving out free plates. I don't know, bro.
Rain check.
I'm just doing what they was told. They got free plates out here.
These different meats had been chopped up and mixed together. Oh yeah.
So you wouldn't know when you was eating human flesh.
Yeah, I don't want
you show master, you don't want none of this fresh meat.
No.
I don't eat meat.
Oh, they got vegetables though. They got vegetables.
These different meats had been chopped up and mixed together with spices, and once shaped into this floral form, they had been garnished with a mixture of ketchup and human blood.
Ew.
Wow, talking about a goulash.
Ugh.
What?
The worldwide human meat market. Satanism, cannibalism, one and the same.
The two sisters explained where they got their human cattle meat.
Boy, they're talking like it's just normal. You wanna know where I got this human meat? Yeah, this cattle. They call it human cattle meat, bruh.
What?
What type of weirdo is this?
The two sisters explained where they got their human cattle meat. They said that once a year they harvested a family of migrant farm workers. Oh, goodness, man.
So you wonder why the Democrats and all them let all of those illegals come in, right?
Yeah.
And there was always the DACA, the Dreamers, all this and that. And when you read the articles and the reports, there's always reports of them getting raped, coming up missing, all this type of stuff. There is a worldwide human meat market that goes on. It's a whole industry.
Yeah.
It's a whole industry. Keep
Just
going.
think about it, man.
That just makes sense, because why aren't they sending them back to their home country?
Yeah.
Why are they putting them in these camps and they're all undocumented, supposedly?
So they don't exist.
So, right. What are they going to do with them?
Yeah.
Well, it could be on the menu. All right.
Okay, so a family of migrant workers. During the summer, the roads of the Midwest were frequented with cars and trucks, which held the families of poor and often undocumented.
She just said it.
Yeah. These were people who, if they went missing, would not be searched for by the authorities.
Wow.
Fresh and healthy meat for the taking.
This is wild, bro.
So the two sisters would send out their bodyguards.
So the bodyguards are women.
Yeah,
Mhm.
These were the three women who had greeted us at the door and frisked the baron. These three women would travel about during the proper season and find a family of healthy-looking poor people.
In other words, fat, overweight-looking poor people.
Man, well, what is healthy-looking to them? I wonder.
Overweight, a lot of meat, because they would only do it once a year. So you gotta break it in while you can.
Man, they would pretend to be charitable Christian women out to help.
God bless you. How you doing today, sir?
You know, Friar Tuck.
Oh man.
They would tote Bibles, wear pretty dresses, and hang Christian crosses around their necks.
We have to be able to discern between friend and foe, wolves in sheep's clothing.
They would locate some poor family in need. They would provide that family with donuts, cake, or some other
Wow.
food they might crave.
Yeah. So like, oh, what do y'all need?
Fatten 'em up.
we got vittles for y'all.
Yeah.
Hey, this is the Christian thing to
We
do.
already thought about
God
that.
bless you, brother.
Yeah.
All right. Amen. All right.
This food would have been laced with drugs so that once the family had eaten it, it would fall into unconsciousness.
Roofied them.
Yeah.
Pull a Bill Cosby.
Yeah. Then the three women would tie them up and load them into the back of a van. When the migrant farm workers would wake up, they would find themselves chained up in a remote barn. Man, a day or so would pass.
Now look at the wickedness, bro. Oh,
A day or so would pass, and they would be given lots of water to drink. When the drugs had passed out from the system, they would be systematically slaughtered.
so let's make sure they're hydrated. Let's get everything out of their system. We're gonna take care of this cattle. All right.
Can you imagine being a family, all y'all locked up, chained up together?
Yeah, and you even came here because you're trying to provide better for your family,
Right.
and then you're the patriarch, and then
And y'all get drugged, y'all wake up in a barn,
thinking you can trust some Christians.
locked up in chains, and they take your daddy back there to go get slaughtered, and then you go, y'all
No, he
next.
next.
Yeah, like, one by one, like,
Just put
bro.
me back to sleep, but.
Yeah, like, hey, you could have just kept me drugged for this.
All right. The second cousins of the two sisters would do the butchery, with the two sisters supervising the entire process.
So the second cousins, they're slightly retarded.
Okay.
That's why they didn't get the predominance. That's why the two sisters are ruling over them. Okay.
Two sisters were supervising the whole entire process. They would typically start with the father, cutting him up slowly while he was still alive.
Hold on. Keep reading.
Oh,
It gets
man.
worse.
They do this in front of the rest of his family,
Wow.
who would scream and beg for mercy.
Adrenochrome.
Oh,
Epstein.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally. The second cousins would process the mother and younger children in this way until all of the meat.
Yeah. So they did the father in front of everybody, then the mother in front of everybody, then they get to the children.
Yeah,
So the
That's
fear.
even worse because they're little.
yeah,
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And blood had been
Fair
harvested.
uses for educational and training purposes.
And blood had been harvested. The internal organs which they didn't wash.
Wish.
And the internal organs which they didn't wish to use were composited with the bones, and the bones were grounded up for gardening.
Well, we use it for our garden.
I ain't eat vegetables.
I'm not. And remember, they actually had vegetables beside the meat plate too, in case
So
you wanted
they
some.
ain't let nothing go to waste.
Ain't nothing. That kind of sounds like the.
That's what most of them
the-
are
It kind of sounds like the delectable Negro a little bit.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
And blood had been harvested. The internal organs which they didn't wish to use were composited, and the bones were grounded up for gardening. They would use some of the blood for cooking purposes. Wow. And some of the blood went into their vegetable garden.
Nope.
So nothing was wasted. The two sisters explained that they only ate human cow meat in moderation and in combination with the meats from other types of animals. So a single family, if it were large enough and plump enough, could supply their needs for a year.
That's wild, bro.
That's crazy.
If they were large enough and plump enough, right?
Oh,
This-
what? Well, okay, you already eat every other meat. Why you want to mix that in with that? Like,
Bro, we're dealing with vampires. We're dealing with literal vampires.
No, seriously.
Like those movies, like they come from elements of truth. We are dealing with vampires of the highest order of Satanism, of wickedness, period.
Those movies wasn't just movies. And I know since I was a little girl, when I watch these movies like this, I'm like, those movies are telling me something different.
chills.
I never took
You
them
get the
as
chills,
entertainment.
you know? Yeah.
Oh, like this gonna happen. Like we watched the movie, remember Phenomenal or Phenom?
John Travolta?
Yes.
Yeah.
Remember that movie
Yeah.
when they had the solar panels?
Mhm.
I was like, and then now look, like years later, they got solar
Yep.
panels and stuff.
You
They
right.
showing a lot in that.
You
I was
right.
like, wow.
They were definitely programming us. You right about that.
And he's a homosexual, John Travolta.
Most of them are. When you get at that level, you got to do something strange
Right. Exactly.
if you want that change. Talking about the two sisters, they periodically sniffed at the meat and moaned with pleasure at its smell. The other hand was used to pick at the meat. Each sister would carefully pick up a small piece of meat and place it gingerly on her own outstretched tongue. Sometimes they would feed each other in this way. As they were eating the meat, they would say things like, this is so delicious. Oh, this is so tasty. When they had eaten all of the meat off the silver platter, they then licked off all of the red blood ketchup garnish that remained. They licked until the platter was clean.
No more, man.
Huh?
That's crazy.
Bro, that's what they do. And so now this is what some of the Satanists and the occult believe, right? They believe that there is a connection to cannibalism and the Sphinx in Egypt.
Oh.
This is what they believe.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, part of the Sphinx is two animals.
So they enter. The entire basement had been designed and painted to mimic an ancient Egyptian temple. So they, in their basement, they have a literal temple, a satanic temple. It was painted in colors of green, orange, red, yellow, and blue. On the north side, there were two statues of the Sphinx. Next to one Sphinx was a white column, and next to the other was a black column. Fastened to each column was a full-length mirror, right? The floor was colored in black and white tiles. We know that. Chessboard. And then the faces of the two Sphinx was actually the two girls, right?
Wow.
Because they would like literally worship themselves as the Sphinx. Self-worship, that's do what thou wilt. That's what Satanism is, right? So I'm gonna skip that. So when I looked back at the south wall, I began to realize that this basement temple might not be so beautiful. On it was a skeleton of a child crucified upon a child-sized cross. The skeleton had a crown of thorns on its head made out of rusty barbed wire. Little pieces of rotting flesh or rotting meat still clung to those bones. So they had ritually killed some child like that. That's why when we be talking about kids becoming missing and people becoming up missing, that is not a game. This is not a game, bro.
They're not gonna look at the elite. They're not gonna look at, oh, they're not gonna do nothing. Like, they got a lot of money. What do we got?
Like I saw that and I was like, yo, this is crazy. I'm trying to skip some of this because I think he's getting disgusted.
I just want to say, this is probably the most.
I said, eat it, read it.
Oh, my stomach turned with this list. I just want to let you know that.
My bad. On the north side, so the two Sphinx. Say what, Jeremiah?
But it's real, though.
That's what
Yeah.
it is, because we know it's a true story.
So then, like in this basement temple, they got pentagrams. They got dragon statue. It looked more like a Chinese than Egyptian. And again, on the face of the two sphinxes was the two girls, right? And then whenever the two girls would come and they would see it, they would get into a trance, and then they would worship themselves through bowing down to the Sphinx. Some weirdo stuff.
Man, that's crazy.
Were they
Weirdo.
under a trance or something, or hypnotized when they were younger too?
No. So it just says the two sisters seemed to go into a trance state as they walked toward the altar.
So whatever they're worshiping, they go into that.
Because each bowed her head before the Sphinx, which depicted her own face. Then each knelt before the respective mirror and began to worship her own image. Mirror, mirror.
Earlier,
On the wall.
666. Yeah,
Who's
got
the
it.
fairest of them all?
That's just weird.
So like they had some graphic depictions. So like this is what they depicted in some of their paintings in their temple. These paintings held images of child rape, child sacrifice, torture, and cannibalism. Some paintings showed ancient Egyptian warriors killing unarmed people, and piles of human skulls were depicted. Although I said nothing, I suddenly realized that this temple was a horror. It wasn't the beautiful temple I imagined it was, because he had seen temples like that before when I first wandered in.
She probably wasn't paying attention.
So Kathy is getting pretty disgusted and kind of scared when she saw that child crucified, right? So she's actually trying to go back upstairs, right? So then the two sisters come there. They're like, "Don't you want to learn the mystery of the Sphinx?"
No.
Asked Bernie. That's one of the sisters' name.
No.
I nodded my head. I felt both terrified and fascinated by them at the same time. The Sphinx, it wasn't what most people think, said Nancy, the other sister. You're such a clever little boy, Kathy. So strange. You must know that the history of the world, which you were taught in school, is mostly silly nonsense designed to fool the human cattle, said Bernie. I nodded. The Sphinx in Egypt in front of the Great Pyramid is 50,000 years old, much older than the pyramids, said Nancy, which is true. And originally, it didn't have a human head. It had a lion's head, said Bernie. They carved the big lion's head into a smaller human head much later on. Do you know why they did that? Do y'all know why they did that? I shook my head. The most ancient of peoples worshiped the lion because in ancient times the lions hunted humans and ate them.
Wow.
So that's why you did that?
So humans worshiped the lions as gods because the lions were higher on the food chain. Do you understand, Kathy?
Hey, slow.
They are incestuous children.
Man.
I nodded. Then Bernie said, but people learned to hunt and kill the lions, so humans became higher on the food chain than them. Nancy completed her thought by saying, so the ancient royalty realized that if they were to become gods in the eyes of the people, they had to be as the lions once were. So the ancient royal families began to eat their peasants. This is what Satanists believe.
Oh my goodness.
That is how they came to practice cannibalism. Now, this is not all Satanists. This is just some.
Yeah.
Whoever is higher on the food chain than the peasants rules over the peasants. This is why the practice of cannibalism is necessary to the attainment of aristocracy. So they're saying that aristocrats eat people. And that is the secret of the Sphinx. It has the body of a lion who eats people, but it has the head of a pharaoh who looks human. Then, say what?
Because he was eating people.
Right. So, and then they actually have this ancient Egyptology book as a reference. You can go ahead and read this.
The two sisters showed us a rare book of secret knowledge of Egyptology. It had never been released to the general public. Copies of it existed only in Luciferian secret libraries. It was written by a British Luciferian Egyptologist. The two sisters showed us that there was a chapter in the book on cannibalism in ancient Egypt. They explained that the ancient Egyptians practiced a peculiar form of cannibalism. They would eat the brains of the deceased. Specifically, this was done to the corpse of royalty, priests, priestesses, and skilled craftsmen. Pieces of the brain could be pulled out with a special hook. Also, apparently the brain could be made into soup of some kind. It was poured out of the skull. The Egyptians had figured out that the brain was the organ of craft and knowledge. There was
Again, but like they invert everything because they didn't really do that.
yeah, there was a quote in this book which had been translated from an ancient Egyptian. It said something to the effect: "The brain is the clay upon which the knowledge of a man's life is written. All craft is there contained. In death, it may be consumed by the living, and so knowledge is preserved."
That don't mean you literally eat somebody's brain, bro.
Right.
That means like you learn from their mistakes. You don't.
So after the death of a respected person, the priest would remove pieces of the brain so it could be eaten. In that way, the knowledge of the deceased would live on. When a pharaoh would die during the process of mummification, his brain would be removed.
That's true.
The other organs would be preserved in special jars. The heart was placed back in the body. I forget what the book said was done with the blood, but the brain or part of it would be eaten by the new pharaoh. Thus, the knowledge of the old pharaoh would be passed on. The two sisters explained that this sort of cannibalism was also used by priests, class, and skilled craftsmen. The Egyptologists who had discovered this had decided to keep this fact secret from the general public. The aristocracy in Europe had long promoted the idea that ancient Egypt was an utopian society. They secretly saw it as a model for a future Luciferian world civilization. So they didn't want the general population to realize that seemingly normal or noble pharaohs were actually mentally ill cannibals.
This is what the Satanists believe, right? And so, just to make this short, the human meat market. So, the person that hypnotized Kathy and was using mind control over Kathy was named Bob. He was a cross-dresser. Whenever he cross-dressed, his name would be Roberta.
He was the second one who actually was able to hypnotize Kurt, right?
Right.
Yeah, because the other woman couldn't do it.
So So Bob ends up telling Kathy or Kurth about this worldwide meat market, human meat market. Says at one point during our journey, he explained to me that cannibalism among the wealthy Satanists living in the East Coast urban areas is quite common and well organized. He said that there were companies, each of which used some shell company as a front, which would sell high quality human meat for high prices. Bob told me that these dealers in cannibalistic products bring in human traffic from around the world. That's the reason why human trafficking will never stop. There is a human meat market, the consumption, right? Low-income workers from abroad are brought in on cargo ships. They are lured in with stories of income they can earn at the Golden Mountain, which is the prosperous nation of America. Because these workers are undocumented, the human traffickers can do what they want with them. I learned that wealthy Luciferians control the docks and the city governments. Some of these undocumented workers are sold off for slave labor to work in sweatshops. Others are sold to professional food suppliers for cannibals. The cannibalistic food suppliers take the people they've purchased off to hidden warehouses. These persons being trafficked are told lies to get them to be cooperative. Once imprisoned in the warehouse, the human cattle are well fed to fatten them up. Then photos of them in the nude are taken. These photos aren't for sexual purposes. Wealthy cannibals select the victims they wish to consume based on photos and other information. When an individual is selected by a cannibal buyer, the chosen victim is then slaughtered. So it's just like any other slaughterhouse, meat market, whatever. Humane human slaughterhouses.
So are they alive when they do this?
Okay.
Possible.
Bob goes on to explain that some of these slaughterhouses treat the human cattle kindly, but some are cruel. Some human cattle are tortured first so that their meat and blood become adrenalized.
Wow.
But there are other slaughterhouses which treat the victims more kindly. In such slaughterhouses, they are killed quickly without pain or fear. This is done by slitting their throats from behind when unexpected during a medical examination. The humane way. Oh, but wait, there's more. We're almost done. Kosher cannibalism.
Really? Kosher?
Kosher cannibalism.
So that's allowed meat.
Go ahead, Jamal. You can read this. We're almost done. We'll read.
Bob also explained kosher cannibalism. Most cannibalistic Satanists don't come from Jewish families, but some do because secret Baal worship.
There we go. Back to Nimrod worship. Here we go again.
By groups pretending to be Jews,
Wait a minute.
pretending to be
I know the
Jews,
blasphemy of those that say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan.
yeah,
Okay.
goes back for centuries. Baal is the god of the planet Saturn, which is another name for Satan. The religion of Baal worship goes all the way back to the time of Prophet Elisha, thousands of years ago. At that time, the early peoples of the Holy Lands divided themselves into two conflicting factions. One group continued to worship the true Yah revealed by Moses, I am that I am, but another group was converted to the worship of Satan, who back then was called Baal. Over the centuries, the Baal worshippers began to hide their real religion by pretending to be Jews. So although they were fake Jews, they did nonetheless embrace aspects of Jewish culture. These modern day secretive Baal Jews still take the kosher rules seriously. So they don't drink blood.
Well, that's good, right?
And that they don't cannibalize other Jews.
That's good.
So they cannibalize other people, but not Jews.
Well, hold on. We don't know that. Keep going.
Other Jews, but they do eat human goyim.
Wow.
Non-Jews.
Like I just said.
Non-Jews, right?
Yeah. When such are processed according to kosher.
According to kosher, so no, we'll eat some human meat as long as it's like done according to the law. To the law.
Man,
The law of what?
that's haram. Boy, you don't eat no nasty stuff like that.
That's wild. But yeah, there's something called kosher
Ain't
cannibalism.
trying to make it spiritual by doing it kosher and all that.
And then those are the people that kind of brought cannibalism on the world stage, to be honest.
Man.
So yeah,
These professional human meat producers prepare so that when in this package, it doesn't look different from any other types of meat.
That is scary.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is
Very.
very scary.
Yeah. Wealthy cannibals look at the photos and select the human meat they want based on their whims or desires. The victims are inspected by doctors before being slaughtered. Thus, quality is ensured. Meat from both adults and children is valuable.
No, available.
Oh, available, yeah. Again, depending upon the particular slaughterhouse, such human cattle meat is very.
So, Democratic and Republican fundraisers. You'll see the picture?
Wow.
Yeah, because on Instagram I seen one about a different meat slaughterhouse here in America. I think it was in Arizona somewhere. And like, you can actually go to this place and they'll feature a platter of food with a hand, a real hand right there, and like literally, bro. This was like last week. I seen that. I didn't want to send it because it was nasty.
Expensive and considered to be a delicacy. Talking about adult or children meat. According to what I was told by Bob, wealthy satanic politicians, both Republican and Democrat, sometimes secretly put human flesh into the dishes at their expensive fundraising dinners. Those dinner guests who are Luciferians know this, but the non-Luciferians are clueless. So if you go to one of those fundraisers, don't eat nothing.
No, thank you, Bob.
I'm good, Bob. If you ain't Bob Barker, I don't even trust him. So,
Already ate, Bob. Don't worry about it.
on a global level, cannibalism is just one aspect of a larger corporate structure. So it's really more widespread and commonplace than most people have been led to believe. This is a worldwide order of eating people, people eaters.
So you gotta think about like the richest people across the world, the most prominent politicians, the military people, like all of them are doing this, bro. Musicians, artists, like.
Yeah, I'm just going to read this slide. We're going to stop here. It says a myth has been sold to modern society that cannibalism can be found in the jungles of Africa or the South Sea Islands, but not among the civilized white people. But this is untrue. If anything, cannibalism is more common among whites than among non-whites, particularly wealthy white people. The only real difference is that the Aboriginal cannibals don't conceal their behavior, whereas civilized Luciferian cannibals do. They do. So this was cannibalism and Satanism. So, Father, we just ask for you to forgive us of our sins and the sins of our ancestors. Thank you for your word, which endures forever, Father. We ask for you to increase in us in the level of discernment so that we can discern between friend and foe. We thank you for encamping angels round about us and our families and our loved ones, Father, to protect us and keep us from all hurt, harm, and danger. We thank you again to creating us clean and contrite hearts, minds, and spirits, Father. And we ask, Father, for you to just be with us and to lead us and guide us into all truth, Father. We need your protection, Father. We are your people. We are the sheep of your pasture. We crave to enter into your gates with thanksgiving and into your courts with praise, Father. Remember the covenant that you have with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob, Father. And we have no might in our hands, Father. Our enemies are more and mightier than we are. They have technology. They have sorceries, Father. We trust in you. You are our strength. You are our song. You have become our salvation, Father. In you we trust, Father. All these things we do ask and pray in the name of your beloved Son, Yahushua HaMashiach. Amen. So we are Yehuda. This is YAH'S Assembly. So please subscribe, hit that notification bell, like and share our content. And as always, until next time, Shalom, tribe.